Okay, so this is a good example or test piece of terrain texture and what washes, earth tone washes will do, what they look like initially. Like this base color here is just a golden kind of light, very pale green that I had lots of. And I like golden because it's just the best acrylic in the world, right? And it's tough and it covers incredible. The pigment is just off the charts. Probably I would say Tamiya and Golden, like in their own kind of niche categories, are equivalent in terms of quality pigment. This is just a wash of Tamiya, super thin, but look at the coverage. It's just, I mean, it's just tinted isopropyl alcohol. Now I use isopropyl alcohol instead of water because water won't do this. Not quite like this, it won't. There's something about IPA that just seems to dissolve the pigment and just spread it beautifully, right? So you can see here, like I'm just going to put a wash of this brown over top, and you can see how it changes the base color, but it gives you an idea of what starts to happen with that layered approach, right? That you can build on. See? I'll show you a darker color in a moment here. Now, why would you want to just paint this brown, like just brown this out with some, heavy pigment, right? You just destroy all the potential of all this texture when you opaque a surface like this completely out, right? So now I can read it, right? See how it's all, like see all this detail. So now I can actually go in there. Like I can read this like a map now. This terrain is mapping. I can see areas that I might want to highlight now or add darker color. Like here, let's add a darker color and just see what happens, right? A very thin, once again, I just keep adding IPA to this. When it gets down in the bottle, I don't add any more pigment. I just add more IPA practically all day long. And, I just keep thinning my paint. So this is really thin, but look how dark it is. Okay, so let's just see what it does. Put some in the rut here. So this is worth a revisit. Pinch and stab static grass. They do this section here. This is some of that overgrowth soil layer that I talked about. So if I want to put some in here, then I put a bead along here. This is what I mean by good quality matte medium. Okay, there's a viscosity to this stuff right here. That's perfect for static grass pinch and stab. I should know, I've been doing it long enough. So it's like There are other glues. If it's too diluted, it won't work. Use it straight from the bottle, okay, for pinch and stab. If you use carpenter's glue tends to creep, so it might sag on you. But until you find the right combination, you might have success with Mod Podge. But I'm sticking with what I have success with. And the translucency of the matte finish when it dries is unbeatable. Like, it's completely flat. And if you want to paint it or airbrush it, it takes paint beautifully. So you can see there that only took, like, how long did that take? And look at the area that I covered there, see? See that? How it hangs? It just, like, it doesn't matter what angle you stab this into, it'll stay there, it'll hold its place, right? And furthermore, like if you're doing the 7mm, like on a level ground, let's say, here, let's see what we can get away with here. Let's see how much of a angle we can cantilever out the 12mm fiber, so to speak. Okay, so I just grab something like this, right? And I just pinch like that, pull. You can go back and forth and then just keep pulling more off if you want to vary the size. Okay, so I'm going to stab this like this so that it's almost horizontal. And look, I push it with my finger. Look, see that? Isn't that nice? I mean, just a little borderline like this can really work wonders for your terrain, like your edging, you know. If you want to model a feature area, really liking that. Okay, so I just want to show you how I change up the color on the rock. So it was all black. I mean, all of this was black, or umber. I mean, it's all personal choice. Black, it doesn't really matter. I like umber because I like brown. I like some brown, some color, just to create some warmth in the shadow. So I basically I should probably be saying at this point that I just shoot IPA that's tinted with color. So, I mean, I probably shoot for one bottle of this, I probably shoot like a whole bottle of IPA. So a liter of IPA for one bottle of Tamiya. That's how much legs I get out of my paint, right? So say what you want about Tamiya being expensive. It's not expensive to me because I just see it as a pigment. So I use that IPA to be the carrier of the pigment. So I'm just going to build up, like this is super thin. So it's almost like spraying a wash on. But because it's so thin, it won't mute the dark shadow layers. I mean, it'll knock them down a bit, but that's what you want. So, and you just build up, like you just come back, you just keep coming back and you build up surfaces. It's the only way you can really render acrylic, if it's even possible, to a type of transparency. Because it's just not inherently transparent, right? It's a strictly opaque paint. But IPA is the way you do it. That's how you render acrylic paint, most notably with an airbrush, as being transparent. So you can see there now, like you can't tell the difference between the foam or the real rock. Like this is the real rock down here. I don't even know how good this shows. Like the actual color on this layout looks quite stunning, like if I can say it. Like live, I mean. It's really, really hard to photograph and to really give you an appreciation for the color of the layout when you stand back and look at it. When you vignette shots like this, I'm trying to give you, a close-in look and to really help you to see what this application does. I hope it's working out. So yeah, so just, I just work it over, just get relaxed with the airbrush and just keep revisiting surfaces and build it up a little bit at a time. And like you can't tell now, like the difference. It's undetectable unless you were to go like this, pull it away, and then show how light this is compared to this. like in weight, I mean. Like there's no comparison. Like this amount of rock that I used in here, which isn't much, weighs about the same weight as all the foam work on the whole vignette, right? Okay. Okay, so you can see the creek bed. I'm developing it and painting it, the moss here on the rocks. So there'll be quite a bit of trees around here, so there'll be a lot of shade in this area and a lot of moisture. So that's the way a lot of creeks in BC look, just like that. Of course, for the water, I'm just going to use probably GAC 500, just basically acrylic resin. There's a flatter spot further back here. Just going to just flood that with a bit of GAC 500 and then run a trickle down through here. It looks just fine and should look pretty good, I think, with some low brush and trees. And then in this grass I'm going to deal with too with the airbrush as well. So there's a big tree that goes in here, the western red cedar, and yeah, it's coming along. Really enjoying this part, I'll tell you. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so I'll just add a little bit of commentary here. So this is, as you can see, GAC 500 by Golden. Now, if you apply this in thin layers, like don't pour it too thick, it clears up quickly, quite rapidly actually. Some of the thicker areas will take a little bit longer, but you can just build up this product and do really nice little creeks like this with. And if you just paint it, usually the go-to color is olive. That's you can't go wrong with olive. And you know, the sky's the limit with what you can do. You can tint it with color if you want, but you know, I don't do anything too fancy. I don't think there's any need for it, especially in this scale. And then I'll come in later with some thicker gel and do some build-ups, like for this, excuse me, this cascading little waterfall right here on the side. You know, I'll build that up and just, I'm going to model this the same way, just build it up with layers. Okay, so you can sort of see it better here. Stony Creek.